Chapter 072. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Pictured left, no name, the custom shop leads Jiraiya to trap that. Pictured, Wind Demon, T, same drawer, order, also called Sashime. Right, Wind Demon Konoha, what are you doing? Do even the dead have to be insulted? Seeing Naruto molded on Kajino, Konoha couldn't help but be furious. Naruto shrugged, I don't have that bad taste, I just want to check my body. Now it's confirmed, sure enough, it's a woman. Shinji's face froze, she really didn't know whether to complain or be angry, and her heart was full of powerlessness. Gee, I just said that he looks so good, it can't be a man. Naruto shook his head, and the nine-tailed chakra mode was activated, sending the nine-tailed chakra to Kajino. The other party is just consumed by life force, and the person is not dead. In the original book, Orochimaru can save her, and Naruto's nine-tailed chakra makes no sense. Sure enough, with the nine-tailed chakra transport, Kajino's vitality gradually recovered, but it became extremely weak. It may be because he did not enter that special violent state, and his vitality did not continue to be lost. Kajino's brain was still a little confused. Shouldn't he have died? How did it suddenly come alive again? I got you back 23. Naruto smiled and said, after all, such a cute little loli died like this, and I would also feel violent. Can you even do such a thing? Kajino let out a long sigh, full of powerlessness like Konoha. Well, after becoming like this, the sound is much better. Naruto rubbed his chin and asked, this is your essence, right? Why do you have to make yourself look like you were not a person or a ghost before? Kajino didn't understand Naruto's purpose for a while, and simply didn't struggle, leaning on the side of the mountain wall and said calmly, this is my forbidden technique. Continue to accumulate chakra, reach a critical point, and then sublimate through the mode of cocooning, and from quantitative change to qualitative change, you can exert unparalleled power. It's a pity that this forbidden technique is not perfect, the energy is lost too quickly, the time to persist is too short, and the power is not as strong as imagined. It's actually pretty good, it's just that the person you met is me. Naruto shook his head and said, but that's not the question I'm asking. Kajino was slightly startled, and immediately understood, and suddenly let out a bitter laugh. The forbidden technique that he was proud of was not worth mentioning in the eyes of the other party, and he was not interested at all. All Naruto really wanted to know was her image. In the process of accumulating chakra, because the energy is getting bigger and bigger, it will be more difficult to control. But I've found that just increasing the size can perfectly avoid this. Kajino said, for the sake of the Wind Demon clan, I need more powerful power, and appearance doesn't matter at all. The previous appearance was because there was too much energy stored in the body, resulting in the deformation of the body, which was also the result of my intentional manipulation. Now this petite physique can't store too much energy at all, it's just a burden. Naruto understood, the ugly look before, which looked like a man, was actually still a woman, but it was just that his appearance was too out of shape to see. The voice is hoarse and low, sounding very similar to a male voice. Also because of the figure out of shape, the voice is mixed with too many impurities. Needless to say, you're really stupid. Naruto couldn't help but sigh. The power that can be freely controlled is your own, and it is precisely because you cannot control it that your body will be deformed. As a result, you don't want to solve it, but continue to increase the volume in order to increase the energy, and in the long run, even if you don't use forbidden techniques, these energies will burst your body. Kajino was silent for a moment and said, of course I understand this truth, but the situation of the Wind Demon clan is not good. I need to improve my strength as soon as possible, and it is impossible to slowly improve step by step. It is precisely because of her cultivation method that she will become the most powerful ninja in the Wind Demon clan. Okay, you won't need this forbidden technique anyway. Naruto didn't dwell on this with her either. What exactly is your purpose? Kajino couldn't help but ask again. What I want to say is actually just a whim, and I happen to meet you, just at the right time. Read violent novels, just go to Faloo Fiction Network. On a whim? Kajino sighed, that's why I need strength. In this world, after all, it is the powerful who have the final say. Weakness is the saddest. Kajino, Konoha only understood the pressure Kajino was carrying at this time, and she was immediately distressed. Call me a dragonfly. That's my real name. Now that the body has recovered to the body, there is no need to use a trumpet. The dragonfly showed a hint of apology to Konoha. I'm sorry, but I still didn't protect you in the end. I knew that it would be best to let you leave with Henzaki. No, you've done enough. Konoha shook her head slightly. Okay, let's stop the small talk. Naruto interrupted them. Can you contact Kazimoku Sasam? Sasami? The second daughter was stunned at the same time. The dragonfly said, although I have accepted my life, it is still impossible for me to betray my companions. Me too. Shinji also looked firm. Okay. It doesn't matter if you don't say it, she will find it herself anyway. Naruto didn't care either, and took the two into his arms with a wave of his big hand. Let me tell you my real purpose now, I just want to collect the C100G guide. Naruto used the wind chakra to clean up a messy cave, and simply did not change places, and directly solved it on the spot. Anyway, the previous haircut and the ground spider corpse were all involved in the ground by the dragonfly's initial earth escape technique, and the rest of the things were simply cleared, and the entire cave became clean and tidy except for a part of the destroyed ground and mountain wall. By the time Dragonfly and Konoha understood the meaning of Naruto's words, it was too late to resist, and they were powerless to resist. Don't look at the dragonfly's body like a little loli that has not grown up. In fact, there should be all the hardware, that is, it is slightly greener, but this feeling can bring Naruto a different feeling. Shinji is more mature, looks outstanding, and has a good figure, but that's it, there is no special place, the attraction is naturally not comparable to dragonflies. It's a pity that the dragonfly consumed too much before, and the physique of the body is indeed a little weak. Even if there is a nine-tailed chakra supplement, it can't last long, and in the end it still didn't make Naruto happy. In fact, this is also a blessing in disguise for the dragonfly, losing the energy accumulated before, and losing the risk of running away at any time. As long as you spend some time cultivating hard in the back, don't be so high. Maybe you can cultivate that forbidden technique into the same type as Tsunade's 100 Hero Seal. Chapter 073. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Are you going to leave us alone like this and leave? It was dawning, and as Naruto quietly got up, the dragonfly opened her eyes and looked at him. That gaze was very flat, and it felt a bit like losing the direction of life and completely rotten. However, when she saw that Naruto wanted to leave, her gaze still fluctuated. Perhaps, the current Naruto is her only motivation to live. If even Naruto didn't want her anymore, there was no point in her continuing existence. What do you think? Do you think I'm an irresponsible scum? Naruto pinched her small nose and smiled. Rest a little longer, you were tired yesterday night, I'll go get something to eat. A hint of surprise flashed in the dragonfly's eyes. This kind of guy who is strong to women can also have a gentle and considerate time. Shouldn't you be arrogant enough to let others do such a thing? Naruto didn't explain, smiled, and got up and left with the flying thunder god technique. Dragonfly. Konoha also woke up and came over and hugged the dragonfly. Oh, what a poor dragonfly, to be treated like this at such a young age, that damn bastard is so hateful. The dragonfly smiled and teased slightly, but I see that you seem to enjoy it. Qin Jiqiao's face turned red, and AI said, I just feel sorry for you and want to share more for you. Actually, I'm not as weak as you think. The dragonfly chuckled, don't look at my petite body, it's all because of the cultivation of forbidden arts, which restricts growth. But in terms of physique, I won't lose to you. And now there is no forbidden drag, it will get better and better in the future, maybe it will be bigger than you. The dragonfly said, and also made a mock in front of Konoha. Shinji couldn't help but snort and said, how do you feel that you suddenly become different? It wasn't like this before. Maybe I wanted to open it. The dragonfly sighed, the things I pursued before are the same as dream bubbles. Now that I let it go, the whole person feels a lot more relaxed. Do you really want to give up? It's not that there is no chance, maybe we can use his power. Konoha didn't expect the dragonfly to be so open-minded, but think about it, after all, it is a person who has died once, and his thoughts will definitely change even if it succeeds. It's still just sending people under the fence. There is not enough strength to support, even if the Wind Demon clan develops into the largest family in the ninja world, it is just a toy in the hands of the strong. The dragonfly seemed to really see through everything, and sighed, like Senju and Uchiha, the strongest in the ninja world back then, aren't they also disappearing into the dust of history now? Therefore, what we have been working on over the years, we do not hesitate to pay everything for this, but ignore the rest, whether it is worth it. Qin-ji was also said to be confused, she didn't think about this kind of thing, and said with a smile, I just hope that the clan can have a better life. Yes, as long as you're doing well. Dragonfly said, so leaving directly with the clansmen like Hanzaki may not be a good choice. Qin-ji was silent for a long time and nodded, indeed. Snap. Naruto clapped his hands and walked over with a smile, after dying once, I really saw that things were more thorough, and I saved your life in vain. Are you really trying to save people? Konoha glared at him, it is obviously the body of a dragonfly, and Qin-ji doesn't want to say it. Naruto smiled and didn't care, handed the food in his hand to the dragonfly, and said, this is specially bought for you breakfast, after eating, I will take you to my territory. Dragonfly took the food box and shared some with Konoha. Aren't you still looking for Sasami? Dragonfly asked. Can you find her? Naruto was a little surprised. The dragonfly nodded and said, Sasaki's cousin Erasure went to the big snake pill, and Sasaki has been chasing and wants to bring Erasure back, so he has been hovering near the base of the big snake pill, and it should be easy to find. Dragonfly. Konoha looked stunned, obviously yesterday he said that he would not betray his companions. Read violent novels, just go to Faloo Fiction Network. The dragonfly shook his head and said, I used to be blinded, but now I understand that there is no future in being involved with the big snake pill. Erasure is already helpless, I don't want Sasami to get in it, even if it is because of this. She glanced at Naruto and didn't continue, but the meaning is obvious, what else could Naruto want to find Sasami for? But. However, she is still young. Jean said with a grudge, that's ridiculous. Those who will grow up must grow up. The dragonfly seems to have decided to let Sasuke come to their side as well. In fact, the dragonfly also had an idea. Naruto's strength she had already seen, and his interests and hobbies were also understood, judging from the fact that Naruto could personally go and buy them breakfast. At least he was not the kind of scumbag who ate dry and wiped irresponsibly, and that was enough. If you pull all the women of the Wind Demon clan to your side and then raise offspring, will it also be considered to strengthen the Wind Demon clan in disguise? At least this method is more reliable than others. Naruto didn't know what the dragonfly was thinking about, and even if he knew, he couldn't object, he would just be happy. Originally, I wanted to wait for you to finish breakfast and take you to my territory to settle down. In that case, let's wait until you find Sasami. Naruto didn't want to hide his interest, and said, it's better to bring you all with me then. Rest assured, follow me, you will only look forward to life more and more. Then we'll wait and see, I hope you don't let us down. After the dragonfly finished speaking, he asked again, can you tell us your identity now? Of course it's fine. Naruto hadn't intended to hide it either, he made a detailed introduction to himself, his status in Konoha, and the situation in the Land of Waves. Dragonfly and Qin-ji were really shocked. It turned out that the identity of this person was really so difficult. Xianli Zhao, so, you're actually the same age as Sasami. The dragonfly blushed a little. Don't look at her petite figure, she is actually in her 20s, a full 10 years older than Naruto. Is this an old cow eating tender grass or? But this world still depends on strength after all. Naruto has such strength, and has the ability to shelter them. After knowing everything about Naruto, he was even more determined that the dragonfly wanted to use Naruto's power to strengthen the Wind Demon clan. Although Konoha was also surprised, she didn't have much opinion, so Dragonfly's decision was her decision, so Naruto bought them some food and daily necessities, and repaired the cave, so that they could stay here for the time being to look for the Wind Demon. Sasami, and himself, of course, is back to the side of the team, where is the most important thing, of course. From time to time I will come back to accompany my second daughter. With the art of flying Thunder God, it is convenient to go anywhere. Chapter 074. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Over the next few days, nothing major happened, and the convoy went quite smoothly. Naruto hovered between Hinata, Sunset Red and Dragonfly and Konoha every day, lingering and having fun. Sakura, who was forgotten in the second half of the convoy, was upset, took a break, and dragged Naruto to a no-man's place to talk. It's a little regrettable that the wind demon Sasami doesn't know where to hide, and the Dragonfly and Konoha haven't found it for a long time. Naruto was not in a hurry. And let them continue to guard near Orochimaru's base, lest Sasaki accidentally sneak in by himself. At that time, there will definitely be death and no life, and it will be too late to regret it. Finally, after nearly 10 days of trekking, the group successfully arrived at their destination, Koka Village, the land of frost. Oops, I can finally breathe a sigh of relief. It's really exhausting me. Tooth couldn't help but stretch. Staying at the back of the convoy these days really suffocates him as an active guy. Woof. Akamaru called out twice, and actually nodded in agreement. Compared to me, I'm the most tired. Shino was weak, and said in a grumbling tone, to ask why, I have been scattering insects throughout the convoy, and chakra has never stopped output. It's hard work. After returning to the village, 690 I will invite everyone to eat balls. Sunset smiled at her lovely students. Great, it's different if you have food. The teeth were immediately revived and regained their energy. This mission is a little longer, but the commission fee is quite a lot. Kakashi revisited, when the task is completed, let everyone be happy together. He smiled and said, although it is only a sea-level mission, the task principal is paid according to the highest amount, that is, our 2 squads can each get a mission fee of 100,000 taels. Wow, there are so many. Sakura was very excited, calculated for a while, and said, then each of us also has 25,000 taels. It's great, I have the money to buy that new dress I've been looking for a long time. Counting the time of returning to Konoha, a total of half a month, earning more than 20,000 taels in half a month, it is definitely a lot of money to put into the civilian population. Unfortunately, except for Sakura, everyone else is basically not short of money, and there is a lack of interest in this mission money. Sakura was also a little embarrassed to see everyone's reaction, as if she was greedy for money. Naruto smiled and helped CDDI her out. Does Sakura have anything you'd like to buy? Tell me early and I'll buy it for you. I don't want it. Sakura grimaced and said, it only makes sense to buy it back with the money you earn. If you really want to give me something, buy a bunch of flowers. No problem, how about sending you 99 roses? Naruto said with a wide smile. Sakura couldn't help but blush a little, even if the old husband and wife, but in front of so many people, she would still be shy. Kakashi also recovered from his embarrassment and coughed dryly. Sakura is right, what you can buy by making money on your own makes sense. You can buy some gifts for this mission money to give to the people you care about the most, which is a rare heart. After all, this was the first time they had made a lot of money since becoming a ninja. There is very little money to stay in the village to perform those D-level tasks, and each task can probably be allocated more than 1,000 taels per person, by some standing ninja tools, and there will not be much left to eat and drink. Kakashi's words made several students' eyes light up. This proposal is indeed good. You can buy gifts for family and friends. After a brief repair, everyone stopped lingering, and they couldn't wait to return to the village. Without the convoy dragging its feet, the time to go back will definitely be greatly reduced. The reserved time was 5 days, but everyone did not stop on the road, and they rushed back to Konoha within 3 days. Rushing for 3 days in a row, even for elite Kakashi and Yuri Red, it is not lightly exhausting, but there was no way. Who let Kakashi say such a proposal? Let the teeth be full of energy, and the others were more or less expectant, and finally made such a decision. Naruto was fine, and when he was resting, he could still use the flying thunder god to run to distract himself, and the others were tired. Read violent novels, just go to Faloo Fiction Network. When he returned to Konoha, several people were dusty servants, tired not lightly, and still urged Kakashi to hurry up and hand over the task and collect the mission money. After everyone dispersed in place, Naruto said a few goodbye words to Hinata and Sakura, and separated from them, and went home with Yuhi Hong. Oops, finally came back. After so many days, the body is going to fall apart. When there was only Naruto on the scene, Sunset Hong no longer had any scruples. stretched her waist, and showed her delicate body. The pet that was about to come out made Naruto's eyes almost pop out. It's not that his concentration is too bad, the main thing is that Sunset Hong is too close. Seeing Naruto's reaction, Sunset Red tapped his finger on his forehead and chuckled, "You little satyr, where do you look with your eyes?" Naruto said angrily, "You didn't deliberately attract me, can you blame me for this?" Sunset Red grinned, leaned close to Naruto's body, and exhaled, "Then what do you want?" Hook lead. This is the hook of the red fruit. Naruto really wanted to catch him directly, but considering that Yuri Hong would definitely tease him with the strength of Sharingan, think about it or endure, it's not good to come around on the street, so let's go back and look for opportunities. After getting along these days, Sunset Hong had already figured out Naruto's temperament, and she really deliberately teased him. "Oh, at this time, you should find a soup room to soak it and drink some red wine, so that you can enjoy life." Sunset Red seems to be sighing to herself, but in fact she is still leading Naruto. Naruto gritted his teeth and glared at her fiercely, then grabbed the pet in front of her with lightning speed, and then quickly greased the soles of his feet. Yay! Sunset Red was caught off guard by a sneak attack, and by the time he reacted, Naruto had already run away. "Little bastard, give me a stop, you actually dare to sneak up on me." Sunset Red suddenly blushed shyly, and chased after Naruto in anger. Anyway, the direction of the two people's homes is the same, and the monk can't run the temple. It's just that she is chasing a little boy with patience on the street. No matter how she looks at it, she is a little Mang Lang. Some people who knew them on the side of the road couldn't help but look at them strangely, and Sunset Red did not find out, including the leader of the 10th class, Ninja Ape Flying Asma, the other party. Even saw the picture of Naruto who was attacked by the Sunset Red just now, and the expression on his face was like eating show. Chapter 075. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Sister Shien, I want to kill you. As soon as Naruto returned home, he saw Uzumaki Shien in the room, and immediately threw himself into her arms with cheers, rubbing and rubbing continuously. Yuyen smiled and didn't care about Naruto's movements, but instead hugged him tightly and gently rubbed him on his back. "Hey, smelly boy, you give me a stop." Behind, Shirihong chased all the way, and saw that Shien was also at home, and the two were already hugging together, and the momentum suddenly weakened by 2 points. Okay, don't let Red see the joke. Shien gently pushed Naruto away and said with a smile, "After going out together, the relationship between the two of you has become so good." Joke, who has a good relationship with him? I still have an account to settle with him. Sunset Red walked over and directly put it on Naruto's ear. Of course, Naruto would not let her succeed, and immediately hid behind Yuyen, sticking out her head and grimacing at Sunset. "You little ghost, dare to do something like that, don't you actually have the courage to bear it?" Sunset Red still looks angry. Yuyen saw that he had a score, pulled Naruto in front of him, and said angrily, "You're doing something strange again, aren't you?" "No, she provoked me first, I just took advantage of it and slipped away, who knows, she can't afford to lose." Naruto looked innocent. Shien suddenly smiled helplessly. You are always so naughty, even I have to call Sister Hong a senior." Shien is 22 years old this year, and Shirihong is already 27, the same, it's all my sister anyway. Naruto chuckled. Shien didn't have any way to do anything about him, so he could only turn around and say to Shirihong, "Sister Hong, Naruto is this character, don't worry about him." Of course, she can also see that the two are mostly playing, and now saying this is just a step for both sides. Sunset Hong hummed, "This little satyr is not taking advantage of me verbally, but really taking advantage of me. How can it be casual with a word or two?" A hint of surprise flashed on Shien's face. It turned out that Naruto said taking advantage. It was really taking advantage in the real sense. Sunset Red was also a little self-indulgent in fighting with Naruto, and after blurting out this sentence, he was a little confused. Shien couldn't help but laugh out loud, tapped on Naruto's head, and then said, "This little ghost head has always been like this, even I have not been taken advantage of by him. It's just that he didn't expect him to dare to stretch out his hand towards Sister Hong. It seems that he really likes you." After all, Sunset Hong is a Shangren, and after being embarrassed for a short while, he forcibly calmed down. Hearing Shien say this, she was also a little surprised, but still complained, "You are his sister, I am not. I've called you Sister Hong for so long, and you still see you like this. Do you have to worship heaven and earth and drink a glass of wine? Naruto complained as well, poof. Shi-yen couldn't help but smile, and said angrily, pray heaven and earth to drink a glass of wine, that's called becoming a family. Humph, you two will squeeze me together, I won't tell you more, or go home. Sunset Red was still stunned, and he was about to slip away. Naruto hurriedly shouted, didn't you say you want to relax in a soup bath together? Now Sister Shien is also there, we happen to be together. Little bastard, you want to be beautiful, how can I be with you? Sunset Red glared at him strangely. Naruto smiled and stepped forward to pull Sunset Red back, saying, it's a big deal, I'm transformed into Naruto, what does it matter? Shirihong is actually not in a hurry to go home, anyway, she is alone at home. Naruto is. Shi-yen heard this term for the first time, a little curious. Sunset Red remembered Naruto's previous transformation into Naruto to coax Hinata, and couldn't help but giggle, that's his transformation technique. She briefly explained Naruto's use of transformation to approach Hinata, and Yen was also a little amused to hear it, but even if you use the transformation technique, the man is the man, how can you mix with the woman, and you are not afraid to blush when you say it. Shien didn't care about herself, anyway, when she pretended to be drunk last time, she was secretly watched by Naruto, and even got started. After determining that Izumitsu was dead, she now had all her heart in Naruto, as long as Naruto wants, she will not refuse. Read violent novels, just go to Faloo Fiction Network. But Shirihong is different after all, no matter how much you call your sister, it is different from Shi-yen, this little devil is a satyr who thinks about this kind of thing all day. Sunset Red glared at Naruto, and didn't know what to think, but suddenly changed his tone and said, forget it, let's go together, it's a big deal to wear more. I've been rushing these days on missions, and I'm tired, and I really want to take a hot bath to relax. In fact, mixed bathing is not uncommon in this world, and the kind of soup room that specializes in business also has mixed baths. Of course, it is generally a compartment for small couples. Public mixed baths are rare, but not impossible. In the red eyes of the sunset, Naruto is still a child after all, and with Yen with him, he is not too guarded. Since Shirihong agreed, of course Shi-yen would not say more. After the three of them made preparations, they went to Konoha's largest hot spring complex and asked for a separate room. Phew. Finally comfortable. Sunset Hong sat in the hot spring wearing a bathrobe, leaned against the stone wall behind and closed her beautiful eyes slightly, and the whole person relaxed. She is good at illusion, but her physical skills are actually relatively poor. Driving for 3 days in a row was a rather difficult task for her. Fortunately, there were Sakura and Hinata in the team, and in order to take care of the two girls, the others did not increase their speed too fast, so they survived. It's hard to walk that far with a few children. Shi-yen didn't wear a bathrobe, stepped on the water generously, and sat next to Shirihong. Speaking of which, she joined the Dark Division shortly after graduating from ninja school, and until now, she really doesn't know what it's like to take a group of shinobi on a mission. Sunset Red was a little surprised that Yen did not hide it, but now that Naruto hadn't come in, he couldn't see anything after sitting in the hot spring for a while, so he didn't say more. It's okay, it's all obedient and sensible children. Sunset Red smiled and said, actually, Naruto's performance was really unexpected. Before I knew him, I always heard a lot of rumors about him, and even my impression of him was not so good. But after contact, I learned that he is indeed a good boy and knows how to take care of people. Shien remembered the situation when he first met Naruto, and sighed, yes, the kind of situation he faced since he was a child is really distressing, so I brought him home. Speaking of this, Sunset Hong couldn't help but fall silent. She still knows the reason, but there is nothing she can do about this kind of thing. Chapter 076. You are listening at novelfull.audio. If you really feel sorry for me, then have a big hug. While the two women were talking, Naruto had already come in, and just in time to hear their conversation, he smiled and threw himself at them. Ah! How come you came in without anything on you? Sunset Red exclaimed loudly and immediately dodged to the side. Yen did not hide, but generously hugged Naruto. Well, there was nothing either, and the touch made Naruto can't help but feel a pound in his heart. Now was obviously not the time to mess around. Naruto quickly let go of Yuyen and took 2 steps back. Naughty. Yuyen seemed to notice Naruto's change and immediately giggled. Well, you two guys, it's true that I don't exist. Sunset Hong also discovered this strange relationship between the two, and her beautiful eyes suddenly widened. She suspected that she had been deceived, so she agreed to bathe with these two. How is it possible to treat you as a big beauty who does not exist? Naruto was aggrieved and opened his arms at Sunset, and said at the same time, didn't you just say that you want a big hug? You avoided it yourself. Come less. Shirihong immediately raised his hand to stop him, and said with disgust, you actually came in like this, it's just fooling around, so your sister Shien will get used to you. And didn't it say that he was going to become Naruto? Oh, isn't that all me? Naruto smiled helplessly, and said with his hands sealed, well, in that case, I have changed, but hugs are indispensable. Boom. After the smoke, it is not Naruto who appears in the hot spring, but the sunset red. At this time, Shirihong also had nothing on him, standing there with his head held high, and raised his legs by the way. Poof, Shien suddenly sprayed, and couldn't help but widen her eyes. Naruto was really not afraid to offend Sunset Red to death, and he was wandering back and forth madly on the edge of death. I can't spare you. Sunset Red was stunned for a moment, and was immediately annoyed, and directly pounced on him and scuffled with Naruto. This is a real and false Sunset Red war. The scene was chaotic for a while, splashing all over the place, and I was stunned for a while. This atmosphere is a little weird, but Shien is indeed in a good mood, and it is rare to be so relaxed. Bastard, don't you change me back soon. Sunset Red was a shinobu after all, and quickly subdued Naruto, holding the fake Sunset Red's ears full of anger. Also, how can I be so small there? You did it on purpose. Just now, Sunset Red stood up with her head held high, looking like I was poor and proud, and almost made Sunset Red angry. You haven't shown me either, how do I know what it's really like? Naruto said with grievances, are you still reasonable? You really want me to show you? Sunset was speechless. As a result, Naruto immediately nodded his head and said of course, yes. If you want to be beautiful, change it for me. Sunset Red knocked on the fake Sunset Red head in annoyance. It's so infuriating, I actually joked about her body. But I don't know how, the more she came into contact with Naruto, the closer she felt to Naruto. Even if Naruto played so much, she just couldn't really get angry. Not. On the contrary, there is a feeling of inexplicability. Happy? Excited? Stimulate? Sunset Hong himself can't say. Anyway, he doesn't hate it, and he likes it very much. Okay, I've changed. Naruto looked helpless, and performed the transformation technique again. This time really became Naruto. Although it relies on the transformation technique, at least the visual effect is different from Naruto's body, and Sunset Red really relaxes a lot. How did it become so big again after becoming Naruto? You're burying me on purpose. Sunset glanced at Naruto, and her mind was suddenly very unbalanced. Naruto stood up and even shook a few times. No worse than Tsunade. He smiled and said, I just think this size is just right, and it is most in line with my aesthetics, so I chose this size, but I didn't mean to look down on Sister Hong at all. What do you mean? Are you saying I'm small? Sunset Red can't help but feel a little fried. No, Sister Hong has a lot of heart. Naruto turned around and sat next to Shien, and measured it with his hand in front of Shien, muttering, I already felt it when I came back just now. Anyway, it's not as big as Shien's sister, but here is now my biggest. Read violent novels, go on Faloo Fiction Network. Oh, don't make trouble, don't touch it with your hands. Yuyen slapped away Naruto's strange hand, in front of Sunset Red. This is still a little embarrassing, but at this time, Yurihong didn't care about these at all, but was provoked by Naruto's words. Little ghost, even if I know that you deliberately provoked me, I still have to let you admit that I can't be younger than Shien. Sunset Red gritted her teeth, removed the bathrobe on her body, and then straightened up. Of course, there are still some small pieces on her, and she is not as shameless as Naruto. However, according to the personality of Sunset Red in the past, it is unlikely to argue with others about this. In short, around Naruto, there will always be a weird feeling that it will cooperate completely according to his train of thought. Shi-yen ate and smiled. Sister Hong, I don't care, why are you obsessed? Naruto relied on the transformation technique, he himself did not have it at all, did he still need to compare? Sunset Hong was slightly startled, and he said the same, no matter who she is, big or small, with Yuyen, it has nothing to do with Naruto anyway. At this time, Naruto said simply, this does look a little bigger than Sister Yuyen, but I suspect that you have something in it. It's a pity that at this time, Sunset Hong has eased up and is not said at all, just glanced sideways at Naruto, didn't care about him, and sat down next to the stone wall with his own care. That's boring. 4.5. You must come to the hot spring to relax. And the way to relax can never be to soak quietly, at least for Naruto. He went directly behind Shi-yen and pressed his hands on her shoulders. Sister Shi-yen, let me help you relax, my craftsmanship must be very good. Yuyen also seemed to know that Naruto would definitely not be honest, but she didn't really care too much. After that moment, okay, then let me see. She chuckled, closed her beautiful eyes slightly, and half snuggled there. Of course, Naruto had not specifically learned the craft, but this kind of thing has always been self-taught, so it quickly made Yuyen snort comfortably. In order to pursue a greater sense of experience, Naruto also lay on Yuyen's back. Well, he's Naruto Uzumaki now, and he has a sense of experience. Chapter 077. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Sunset Hong watched the interaction between Naruto and Yuyen, and felt more and more that the relationship between the two was very strange. I really don't think of Naruto as a transformation technique. Not only that, but after that, Yuyen also helped Naruto relax. The two had no scruples, as if they were really sisters fighting, even more intimate than sisters. However, ninja life really rarely has such a relaxing time, and to be honest, even Sunset Red is a little envious, but to say that it is impossible to add her in, Naruto's body is the biggest problem. Naruto, come out with me in 2 days. I want you to help with something. Taking advantage of the quiet effort, Shirihong finally talked about the things in her heart. After thinking about it, she still decided to make things clear. Naruto was a person with a great idea, maybe he could help her figure it out. I once had a disciple named Yakumo, the only daughter of the Kurama clan Song Yun, and this happened about a year ago. Then, she explained the situation of Kurama Yakumo in detail, including Ito in Yakumo's body, and she took over the confidential task of 3 generations 23, and finally sealed Yakumo's ability. Yakumo is now arranged to recuperate at Satamigaoka Mountain Villa, and is actually under house arrest. In order to prevent her ability from awakening and storming away one day, 2 medical staff and a dark department have been arranged to monitor her 24 hours a day. Yakumo doesn't know the truth. She always thought that it was the 3rd generation of adults who ordered to kill her parents, and she was also full of resentment towards me, the teacher who sealed her abilities. Sunset Red's face was full of regret and pity, and Yakumo's situation was the biggest pain in her heart. Naruto stopped playing with Yuyen and said, Sister Hong, along the way, I always feel like you have something in your heart. Is it because of this Kurama Yakumo? Did you really notice? Sunset Hong sighed slightly and said, seeing that you can easily enliven the atmosphere, a few words helped Hinata strengthen her faith and reverse her introverted personality, so I always unconsciously think of Yakumo and think about what it would be like if you contacted her. Now she lives in hatred and darkness every day, which will only make that monster grow faster in her body. I'm worried that if I continue like this, one day Yakumo will become no longer Yakumo, but I can't do anything but be in a hurry. Naruto asked, so what do you want me to do? Help her take down that monster in her body? This kind of thing, even you, the master of illusion, can't do it. How can Naruto do it? Yuyen also sympathized with Yakumo, but she cared more about Naruto's safety. A person who can't control himself and even killed his biological parents. Yuyen can't worry about letting Naruto touch her. What kind of illusion master am I? Shirihong smiled bitterly and shook his head. That monster is Yakumo's heart demon, and outsiders can't help. After all, Ito is a spiritual mind hidden in Yakumo's heart. Even if Sunset Red relied on her own spiritual power to invade Yakumo's body, unless Ito appeared on his own, he would not be able to find it at all, let alone deal with it. If you don't get it right, it's easy to hurt Yakumo's spirit body. She didn't think that Naruto, a newcomer, could do it. I was just thinking that with Naruto's personality, if I could try to contact Yakumo and talk to her, maybe Yakumo could slowly come out of the gloom. As long as the mood is good and the personality is gradually cheerful, at least it can delay the time of her ability to storm, and then I will slowly think of other ways. Sunset Hong said. She also didn't think that Naruto could solve the problem once and for all, but just wanted to rely on Naruto's eloquent personality and personal charm to let Yakumo come out of the psychological shadows. If that's the case, Shi-Yen is acceptable. Anyway, there are dark parts and medical staff watching. Shi-Yen is also a dark part, and he must know about the existence of Yakumo, and he knows some insider information. But he doesn't know the details, now that I have listened to Sunset Hong's words. Many things are also right, and I also feel pity for the little girl in Yakumo. Speaking of which, her situation is somewhat similar to mine. Naruto let out a sigh of emotion, then patted his body and assured, "Don't worry, everything is left to me. I will definitely make Yakumo happy, no longer immersed in pain and hatred." With Naruto's few beats, the pet he conjured with the transformation technique surfaced, jumping, and his mouth was a little dry when he saw the sunset. However, at this time, both Yuri Hong and Yu-Yen also remembered that encountering Naruto was no worse than Yakumo, but he can face life positively and never let people see his sad side. Maybe Naruto is someone who can resonate with Yakumo. Shi-Yen hugged Naruto into her arms and said softly, "Sister will always be with you, no matter if you are sad or happy, you can share it with me." Sunset Red can finally understand Yu-Yan's feelings, and also understands why Yu-Yen has always been so indulgent towards Naruto. Read violent novels, just go to Faloo Fiction Network. If it were Yakumo, she would do the same, thinking that if Yakumo could be cured, she would also take Yakumo to her own home and take care of her as her own sister, just like the relationship between Yu-Yen and Naruto. After that, Shirihong said some details about Yakumo, but they were all irrelevant things, and more of them were Shirihong's own memories of the bits and pieces between him and Yakumo. I should have come here to relax, but after mentioning Yakumo, the mood of Sunset Red and Sunset Yen is not so beautiful. Naruto didn't say anything out of place at this time. Naruto was still very interested in Yakumo's slightly older young lady. The blood succession limit 5 senses manipulation is a more powerful illusion technique than Uchiha Sharingan, of course, only before the 3-hook jade writing will I. This is also quite remarkable, the 5-sense control can completely create a whole new world. If this ability is used well, it can even be read for an unlimited month. It's a pity that maybe this ability is too heaven-defying and requires too strong mental power, which dragged Yakumo's body down, and he didn't even have the qualifications to become an ordinary ninja. The gang must be helped. After all, it is a cute and beautiful young lady. I don't know if after putting on Yakumo's tailed beast coat, she can freely control her power, but in the end, the most important thing besides Ito is to solve the problem of Yakumo's weak physique. Naruto definitely couldn't help it. Maybe wait until Tsunade came back and let her find out why. Chapter 078. You are listening at novelfull.audio. In the dark basement, a figure is walking slowly. For normal people, this dark and humid place is definitely not liked, but that figure was like a fish in water, with a hint of enjoyment on his face. "Big snake pill, since you're here, don't grind there." An impatient urge came from a secret room in the depths. The visitor chuckled and quickened his pace and walked over. The candlelight shone on his face, and it was one of the legendary 3 ninjas, the Great Snake Pill. Yale, isn't this my beloved Danzo-sama? How does it look like it's lost?" Orochimaru walked into the secret room and saw Danzo sitting on a chair. At this time, the state of Tuanzong made the Big Snake Pill slightly surprised. In the past, no matter when we met, the other party was the kind of person who was in control of everything and looked forward to the future, but now, although his appearance has not changed, he looks a lot older. It is the kind of exhausted and powerless look. "Big Snake Pill, the old man didn't call you here to see a joke." Tuanzang's face sank. The Big Snake Pill didn't care about this, and shrugged his shoulders. "I'm just surprised, you actually took the initiative to find me. I want you to help me deal with someone." Tuanzong simply did not mince words, and said in a deep voice, In exchange, the old man will give you a large amount of money, which is enough for you to consume for several years. After all that Tuanzong can take out at the moment is cash. He knew that the big snake pill had been addicted to research, and there were few income channels, and the most lacking thing was funding. Roar. Master Tuanzo is really rare and generous. Orochimaru was a little surprised. Who are you trying to deal with? From Tuanzang's tone, he could hear a trace of extreme corruption. Obviously it would not be too simple for him to deal with people. Nine-tailed man pillar force, Uzumaki Naruto. Tuanzong gritted his teeth. Not only was he extremely angry, but he even carried hatred. Orochimaru was really surprised at this moment. If memory serves, that nine-tailed imp is only a teenager this year, and has just reached the age of graduating from ninja school, right? Although the identity is special, it is definitely not good for the group to hide it in the open, but if there's any thought, won't it be done in secret? It is necessary to pay such a big price to ask the big snake pill to make a move. He's not an ordinary little ghost, otherwise the old man wouldn't be looking for you. Tuanzong saw the mind of the big snake pill at a glance, and said hatefully, thanks to him, all the elite subordinates that the old man has cultivated with great difficulty will be burned. Even those reserve trainees are gone, so there is no need to talk to the big snake pill about this. As for the root base, there is nothing to worry about. Tuanzo and Orochimaru are the same kind of people. Eggs are never placed in the same basket. That base is only on the bright side, but even so, it still startled the big snake pill. He was well aware of Tuanzo's character, since he would say such a thing. He must have secretly attacked the nine-tailed imp several times, but every time he returned, and even suffered heavy losses, taking all the members of the entire root organization into it. No wonder when he came, he found that there was almost no eye line around him. It turned out that there was no one under Tuanzang's hand. If I'm not mistaken, that nine-tailed imp should be only 13 years old, right? The big snake pill is still unbelievable. Is it a genius like Uchiha Itachi? The specific situation is not clear. This point needs you to investigate. Danzo recounted in detail what had happened with Naruto before. Finally, he added, the old man suspects that he may have mastered the power of the nine tails, and even fly the thunder god. The two contacts, the first time was fired by Naruto's wind spiral shuriken, destroying the entire root base, along with all the members of the root organization inside. The second time, one of the doe hides was scared away, and none of the reserve root members he brought with him survived. Read violent novels, just go to Faloo Fiction Network. Of course, Danzo must have been hiding as Inochi. This is his biggest hole card, and it's impossible to say to anyone. After listening to Tuanzang's description, the big snake pill's face remained unchanged, but he was complaining madly in his heart, is this a joke? A teenage imp who not only learned to fly the thunder god, but also mastered the power of the nine tails. Destroy the root base in one move and take out all the members of the root organization. These words sounded simply fanciful, even more outrageous than Uchiha Itachi's 13-year-old extermination. The good villain Uchiha is defenseless, and the Uchiha Weasel is their own people, and it is really not too simple to kill those who have no power in the clan land. If Naruto Uzumaki was really as powerful as Danzo said, Orochimaru was not confident that he could handle it. Flying Thunder God didn't say anything. He couldn't deal with it at all. The power of the nine tails is also unpredictable. Let him deal with such people. What to beat? And Tuanzong, this old immortal, wants to let himself work for several years with experimental funds, which is completely impossible. Tuanzo also knew that there were indeed some strongmen who were difficult, so he spoke. This is a long-term mission. The old man will allocate half of the funds to you first. You help me investigate the situation of Naruto Uzumaki, ability, strength, and the source of his strength. After that, we'll discuss how to deal with him. But, the nine tails must stay in Konoha. As long as this hidden danger can be solved, the old man will hand over the remaining half of the funds to you, and cooperate with you to find a batch of experimental subjects in Konoha. The big snake pill just groaned slightly, and immediately chuckled, deal. Since you can take money first and then do things, you don't have to think about it so much, and just let him do the investigation. The big snake pill is still very confident in this regard. Even if the final investigation can't find out the information that satisfies Tuanzong, the money that has already been eaten by him, Wang Zhao, will not spit it out again, Naruto Uzumaki. Death is afraid of hot drama. After leaving the base camp of Tuanzang, Orochimaru lowered his long tongue, his face full of excitement. For all abnormal people and things, the big snake pill is interested, not to mention that the group hit a high price for him to investigate Naruto, even if there was no deal, as long as he knew about Naruto, he would definitely not turn a blind eye. Orochimaru forcibly resisted the urge to reach Naruto Uzumaki now, and soon left Konoha. This time he was called by Tuanzang. If he stayed too long, he might be ambushed. He didn't believe Tuanzang. Even if he wants to investigate, it is up to him to decide the timing, and it is impossible to be led by Tuanzang by the nose. Wait until the time of Konoha's collapse plan, let's investigate by the way. It's really unexpected, the wind of the ninja world, where should it blow in the future? What an exciting. Chapter 079. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Naruto didn't know that Aunt Snake and her beloved Dantuan-sama had already met and discussed how to him. After taking a bath with Yuyen and Yurihong, discussing waiting for Yuri Red to ask for 3 generations of Hokage, he took Naruto to visit Yakumo. After that, the 3 of them had another dinner together, and then they went to their respective homes. At night, Naruto rarely left a doppelganger and ran outside to fool around, because Yuyen thought of Naruto's life through Yakumo, and was disturbed by the 9 tails. The situation was probably worse than Yakumo, and his heart was full of pity. So she decided to let Naruto keep Naruko's transformation all the time today, and then sleep with her arms. Sister Shien, are you discriminating against me? Naruto looked at Yuyen with a look of grievance. Shien was stunned and said strangely, why do you ask so? Where did I do badly to misunderstand you? That I was going to sleep with him, and I actually asked this question, Naruto said aggrievedly. Then why did you let me transform? You must prefer Naruto and don't want me, right? Shien was speechless for a while, but soon reacted. Naruto's personality is definitely not like this. In the end, he deliberately squeezed her and wanted to sleep with her with his body. To borrow a phrase from the Sunset 347 read, think beautiful. Shien rolled her eyes and said angrily, anyway, that's it, either become Naruto, or you go out, the door of the room is over there. She knew that sleeping with Naruto, the latter could never be honest. That's why Naruto transformed. If the object was Naruto, at least it wouldn't be so embarrassing, wouldn't it? Well, actually, isn't it strange that Yuyen took the initiative to ask to sleep with Naruto? Letting him transform into Naruto is a reasonable reason. It's reasonable to want to find a sister to accompany you, isn't it? And if Naruto suddenly becomes Naruto in the process, she can only complain verbally a few words at most. Can she really interrupt halfway through? Therefore, sometimes women's hearts are not easy to ponder. At least Naruto has not seen through it yet. He just wanted to die in the face, and then under the threat of Yuyen, he reluctantly transformed into Naruto. Wow, you're cheating so much. Looking at Naruto in front of him, Shien couldn't help but exclaim with wide eyes. Previously, in the pond, Naruto was about the same size as Tsunade. Now it is even more exaggerated, directly larger than 2 models. One is almost the size of Shien's head. Naruto pressed it with her hand herself, and said with a wink, envy. But if it's too big, it's actually annoying because your shoulders will be sore. Poof, Shien couldn't help but squirt, and said angrily, it's all tiger and wolf words learned from, it's too unorthodox. If I really have a sister like you, I will definitely fight 3 times a day, otherwise I really can't educate well. But like Sister Shien, there will definitely be no such distress as me. Naruto said to herself, sighing with a look of self-pity, alas, I really envy you people who walk like a fly. Bastard, you give me enough time. Even if Yuyen had a good temper, he couldn't stand the repeated provocations, and directly gave Naruto a violent blow, bang. Naruto reverted back to Naruto, who covered his head with tears in the corners of his eyes. It's too bullying, Sister Shien, I can't maintain the transformation technique like this. Come less. Shien said angrily, give me seriousness, don't be too non-human, just follow me, I am the golden ratio. Speaking of which, she was somewhat proud. She didn't think that bigger was better. As Naruto said, 2 big shoulders would soar, and movement would be restricted. It's just right like her, one hand can be mastered. 2 hands can come from both sides, and the third hand can come from the middle. Ahem. Anyway, the desired function is basically there, but I don't know what it's like inside. It's definitely not exactly the same. Naruto said pitifully, don't think I don't know what the hell you're fighting. Yuyen picked up one of Naruto's ears and said with disgust, don't even think about it, hurry, CDDH, to change, or go out. Okay, I really can't help you. Naruto Crayon Shin's tone was funny. Read violent novels, just go to Faloo Fiction Network. What kind of weird tone is this? Shi-Yen listened with a black line on her face, bang. The transformation technique was performed again, but this time it appeared to make Shi-Yen spray again. How? Fake Shi-Yen twisted her body without wearing anything and made a few weird gestures, and asked, do I look like this? Is there anything else to correct? That I have to say that in addition to the tone and behavior, the rest is really exactly the same as Shi-Yen. Yuyen seriously suspected that Naruto had secretly seen her, otherwise how could it be so similar? Oh no! She finally reacted. On the evening of the day she drank, she had already seen it at all, and measured it with her hands. You little bastard! Yuyen gritted her teeth and was about to knock Naruto back again. Naruto dodged back and said with a grim expression, you underestimate me too much. As a dark part of Konoha, how can you be hit by a little trick like you? Watch me fight back. Konoha Ryu's sword art 3 days and moon dance. Naruto split directly into 3 and rushed towards Yuyen from 3 directions. This time, regardless of tone or movement, it is exactly the same as the sunset in weekdays. However, what Shi-Yen wants to say is, can you put your clothes on first? This is really restful. While Shi-Yen was still stunned, she was already hugged by another Shi-Yen. Of course, there is no 3 sun and moon dance. Naruto has no weapon in his hand at all, just rushing over purely with a shadow doppelganger. However, even if it was a shadow doppelganger, Naruto didn't want them to offend his woman, and in the end, only the body hugged it, and the shadow doppelganger was lifted in time. Shi-Yen did not resist, let Naruto hold her with her appearance, and said helplessly, okay, stop messing around, it's not early. You must be tired from going out on a mission for so long, so you need to rest early. Ben thought of pitying Naruto. It seemed that Naruto was much more optimistic than she thought. This is good. Shi-Yen hopes that he can always be so happy, no matter how her life changes in the future. If she can maintain such a naked heart forever, she is willing to be teased by Naruto's transformation method. Hehe, I'm very happy to be able to mess around with Sister Shi-Yen. I'm not tired at all. Naruto regained his body and lay on his stomach in Yuyen's arms, although, if he knew what Shi-Yen was thinking now, he would definitely laugh. What the hell's naked heart? His naked heart is to always maintain such an astringent heart. Yuyen didn't insist on letting Naruto transform into Naruto anymore, so she held him and lay down together, kissing Naruto's forehead. Shi-Yen said softly, I am also at ease with you, so you have to promise me that you will always be so happy and always accompany me. She was genuinely worried that one day Naruto would be swallowed by the consciousness of the 9 tails and become no longer Naruto. I will never change my heart for Sister Shi-Yen. Naruto assured. Chapter 080. You are listening at novelfull.audio. After all, he still couldn't finish the home run on Shi-Yen, although he finally agreed to sleep there with his body, but Shi-Yen fell asleep after the trouble. After all, he is the first and only woman in the world who has no purpose and takes the initiative to be good to him. Naruto has a very special feeling for Yuyen, and naturally can't bear to force it. Only Uzuki Yuyen. Naruto felt that he was in love with her from the bottom of his heart, so, wait to make a good memory, let's do it. When I got up in the morning, I should have been a little lost, but the experience I fed back from the shadow avatar made Naruto's mood instantly beautiful. It is worth mentioning that those shadow doppelgangers who stayed under Ibri's hometown had a godhead doppelganger who was specifically responsible for collecting experience. Naruto had considered that he could not collect experience until the shadow doppelganger cultivation was lifted, but he couldn't run over there every day to use the shadow doppelganger. Therefore, he deliberately created a shadow avatar with more chakra and stayed there as a godhead. This secthead avatar will determine the time period when the body sleeps in the early hours of the morning, and lift the shadow avatar of cultivation, so as to collect their experience, but it will not affect the body due to the superposition of fatigue for a moment. After that, using the chakra refined by the nine-tailed doppelganger, a new batch of shadow doppelgangers were recreated to continue cultivation. If at that fixed time point in the time of disarming the shadow avatar, the body has not slept, a shadow avatar will be specially sent over to remind it. After this series, Naruto basically didn't have to care about the cultivation situation over there, as long as he lay down and win. And the reason why I am in a good mood today is because not only the Vajra blockade cultivation has been completed, but also the long-term wind escape training has also reached a new milestone. Just as Naruto had expected at the beginning, using the wind attribute chakra, he could walk in the air and fly with the wind. Creating wind out of thin air was no longer a problem for Naruto. He could change the created wind into any shape, even like gravity and repulsion. Wind is a kind of air flow, gravity and repulsion also create air flow, and there is a certain commonality between the two sides. Create a long wind beam like a laser, let the force of the wind blow back, then it is gravity. And the force of the wind blowing forward is repulsion. However, with Naruto's current achievements, he is far from being comparable to Tendo Pain, but he believes that if he continues to study like this, he will one day be able to reach or even surpass Heavenly Tao Pain. Of course, this refers to pure gravity and repulsion, not overall strength. Naruto, who was in a beautiful mood, rarely used his body to meet the 7th squad. Yo, good morning, Sakura-chan, Misakiko-kun. On the stone arch bridge by the river, Ming Yuan greeted the two teammates who had come in advance. Sakura immediately ran over and hugged Naruto's arm. Good morning, Naruto-kun. Don't call me Nezuko. Sasuke had a black line on his face. Oh, Misakiko-kun, Sakura-chan, I'm bringing you breakfast again today. However, when Naruto handed over a breakfast box, Sasuke's expression stiffened slightly, and finally took it in silence, with words of rejection in his mouth. The body is still very honest. Thank you, Naruto-kun. Sakura happily kissed him on the cheek, and Mitsuki opened the breakfast box and ate it. In order to maintain her figure, she often eats very little, and many times does not even eat breakfast, but as long as Naruto brought her breakfast, she kept in shape or something and was thrown to Java country. Naruto wouldn't dislike her anyway, and it would be the same to lose weight when he finished eating. Sasuke himself had a habit of eating breakfast, but Naruto's breakfast was also very attractive to him, so. Well, it's time to grow a body. What's wrong with eating more? Eat more to have the strength to do tasks and cultivate. Ahem, that, Nisakiko, I see that your face seems to be a little pale. Should you just come back from the task, yesterday in the evening? What's that, right? Naruto smiled wickedly. From the first time he saw Sasuke, he found that this was definitely a change in the evolution of a little boy into a man. That is, this little boy was indeed a little smaller, and his body might be weaker than that of an adult. When he went on an escort mission before, Sasuke consulted him several times during the break. Although Naruto could tease him verbally, he still gave him some guidance. It's just that I didn't expect Sasuke's movements to be so fast, and he just came back and didn't have a good rest, so he actually went to practice it right away. Read violent novels, just go to Faloo Fiction Network. Even after rushing for so long, it is not strange. Sasuke's expression froze, and the delicious breakfast suddenly became unfragrant. Is this guy such a thief in the eyes? This is actually seen. I don't understand what you say. Sasuke perfectly explained what it means to be embarrassed as long as I am not embarrassed, and soon pretended to eat breakfast if nothing happened. Naruto didn't continue to squeeze him. In case Nezuko went crazy, it would still be quite troublesome, but he didn't mention it. But Sakura, who had already pricked up her ears to eavesdrop, was curious, and pulled Naruto to ask in a low voice, what the hell are you talking about? What's that? Don't say it. Sasuke instantly bounced. In front of Naruto, he can still pretend. If others find out, it will simply be a society death. Naruto smiled wickedly and said, actually, it's nothing. Sakura and I are both from here, and everyone is the same. You are not allowed to say it anyway. Sasuke raised his voice with a hint of growl. It doesn't matter how others do with him, all he cares about is whether he will die. Naruto shrugged at Sakura. Helpless, Sakura could only hold back her curiosity and stop asking. She also saw that Sasuke was on the verge of running away. After eating breakfast, Sakura snuggled up next to Naruto and said thoughtful words. Sasuke leaned against the bridge railing alone, wondering if he was reminiscing about the process of yesterday night. 2 hours later, Kakashi arrived belatedly. Good morning everyone, I'm lost today. Naruto snatched the dialogue over in Kakashi's tone. The corner of Kakashi's mouth twitched, patted his head, and sneered, well, that's it, Naruto, you still understand quite well. I don't understand you. Naruto sighed and shook his head. At least Sasuke has practiced it, but you. Shouldn't you grind too much on the book, so you're listless all day, right? Hey, which Ludo? Sasuke suddenly exploded like a cat whose tail had been stepped on. Hi. Let's delete the sentence about Sasuke from your mind. Naruto was insincere. As a result, both Sasuke and Kakashi looked depressed. Forget it, today is the same as before, let's practice while tasking. Kakashi pulled his head, unable to speak. Chapter 081. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Such a coincidence, is it about to start now? After the mission, Naruto watched a communication eagle fly overhead, slightly surprised. The time is actually so coincidental, just in time for the day after they return to the village. This is the protagonist treatment. Kakashi glanced at Naruto and said softly, this is the communication eagle of the village, and this signal represents that Naruto-sama is convening a meeting of the upper shinobi in the village. So I'm going to rush to the Hokage building now. Anyway, let's do it today, and everyone disperses in place. After Kakashi finished speaking, he immediately left in an instant. Sakura and Sasuke only then realized that they followed Naruto's line of sight and looked up, only to find the communication eagle hovering above. Sharingan assembly meeting. Did something big happen? Sakura looked surprised. Sasuke glanced at Naruto. He was more concerned that he himself had not yet discovered by 397, but he was discovered by Naruto first. Damn, it feels like the gap with Naruto is getting bigger and bigger. However, Sasuke didn't find nothing, as if he wanted to compete with Naruto. His tone was flat but he pretended to beep. During the previous mission, I found that there were many more strange faces in the village, and the atmosphere was a little strange, which should have something to do with this. The Chunin exam is about to begin. Naruto smiled and said, of course, he also found out, but he knew that he would start the Zonnin exam soon, but he didn't expect to start recommending the list now. Naka Shinobi exam. Sakura and Sasuke looked surprised at the same time. Sasuke hurriedly asked, Naruto, what do you know? Joint Chunin exam. Naruto didn't hide it either. Anyway, there is Shien to give him the bottom. As long as there is no real secret involved, no one will suspect him. Naruto explained, the general Chunin exam, which is held twice a year, is a normal channel for the promotion of shinobi to Naka shinobi. In other words, as long as it is a lower shinobi, after passing this exam, you can become the official middle shinobi in the village. And the joint Zonnin exam is not always available. This is a larger scale and a wider stage assessment. It is organized by the allies, and then all the allied countries who are going to take the exam will gather together to compete. Compared to the general Zonnin exam, the difficulty will definitely be greater. But, in other words, at this, Naruto paused and didn't finish speaking, but it was clear that both Sakura and Sasuke understood the gold content will also be higher, right? Sasuke clenched his fists hard. Sakura said abruptly, so the Kakashi-sensei rushed to the Shang Shinobi meeting to discuss the matter of the joint Chunin exam. Do we have to participate too? The joint Chunin exam is still too reluctant for Sakura now, to say that there is expectation, more or nervous. Sasuke was all excited, and that stage was where he showed his talent from Uchiha 9 times out of 10. Naruto put on a reasoning look and said, don't look like Kakashi doesn't seem to pay much attention to us, but I heard that he had taken 2 classes before us, but he sent them back to school during survival drills to rebuild. In other words, he's actually happy with us. I believe that if we have the opportunity, he will definitely help us get the opportunity to take the exam. Regardless of the result, at least the assessment process will be a good experience for us. Interesting. Sasuke couldn't help but get excited. It was exactly the answer he wanted. In the joint Zonnin exam, there will definitely be many formidable opponents, especially Naruto. Sasuke wanted to know what Naruto's true strength had reached, and he wanted to fight seriously. Experienced? That's what I said. Sakura was not very confident at first, but when she heard Naruto's statement, she agreed, and she was not so nervous. She also wanted to grow up as soon as possible and follow Naruto's footsteps. Therefore, the Zonnin exam may be very reluctant to her now, and it will be different if it is regarded as an experience. While the three were talking, they happened to encounter the scene of Kankuro bullying Konoha Maru on the street. In this time and space, Naruto did not intersect with Konoha Maru. He can't keep busy with his own affairs. How can he pay attention to this kind of little ghost, especially thinking that he might soak his sister-in-law in the future? Naruto couldn't wait to kill him. Read violent novels, just go to Faloo Fiction Network. To say that the only thing that is interested is the cute little cute next to him, it's a pity that it's still too small. I'll talk about it later. Let go of me. Konohama Maru was grabbed by his clothes and picked up, his face full of pain. He kept kicking his legs, but unfortunately his legs were too short to touch Kankuro at all. Yay! Mo Huang and Udon screamed in fright, shivering in the corner. Very exciting, stinky little devil. Kankuro grinned. He secretly said in his heart, is this Konoha's shinobi? It's also too weak. If his heart was heard by others, he would definitely be quite speechless. This Konoha Maru is obviously only a ninja school student. When did Kankuro become blind to take this kind of guy as the representative of Konoha's shinobi? Hey, which village are you from? It's too unscrupulous to be so presumptuous in someone else's village, right? Sakura's sense of justice erupted, and she couldn't help but shout. Naruto threw down Sakura and ran over to pick little Mo Huang up. Oh, frightened, poor little one, there is no need to be afraid of me. Although you can't mess around, it's okay to develop it first. Mo Huang glanced at Naruto blankly, and sure enough, he was much relieved, and Udon also ran to Naruto's back to hide. Naruto-kun. Sakura looked at her pitifully. Isn't it supposed to be a priority to protect her in this case? What in case of conflict? It's a pity that her love is too humble, and Naruto will subconsciously ignore her feelings many times, but it's okay, find a time to conquer again, and Sakura won't mind. Hey, Naruto. Sasuke 5.0 glanced at Naruto and said, does it have any effect on that guy? Naruto understood what Sasuke meant. They had just mentioned the joint ninja exam, and now they had met the ninja from the outer village. Obviously, these guys came to take the joint Zonnin exam. Thinking of this, Sasuke couldn't help but want to try the other party's gene too to see what level he would be if he took the joint Chunin exam. It's just that the other party came to Konoha to take the exam after all. And I don't know if there will be taboos when they move towards the other party. As if holding a doll, Naruto held Mo Huang in his arms, and even kissed her the cheek, making the latter blush. Then he chuckled at Sasuke. A simple lesson, it's not a big problem. Oh, that's good. Sasuke also chuckled, and the fighting spirit in his body rose.